this one, we're going to look at identify when and how to respond to email messages. And the things we need to focus on are decide on the priorities. So is this email important, and what in this email is important? Someone might send you an email with 3 or 4 points. You need to reply to everything, but if you cannot reply to everything, you only focus on the important ones. That's what that means. Gather information needed to respond. So if someone sends you an email asking questions, what you need to do is to reply with the answers of those questions. For you to be able to reply with the answers, you need to gather the information. So get the information that you need to put into the email and then send it. And decide when and who to copy in. When and who to copy in simply means, imagine your teacher sends you an email and they ask you to forward or send that email to someone else as well, or when you're replying, reply and add certain people into the email. That's all that this means. So you need to decide when and who to copy in and what to do about attachments. The main thing I need you guys to focus on here, it says identify. What the word identify means is simply to point at or look at the thing that needs to be done. So I think what I'm going to do for this one is create a quiz. I'm going to come up with a scenario. I'm going to screenshot a few things and I'm going to come up with a quiz. And the quiz, it should cover all of these bullet points here. The output of the quiz, the answers you put in for the quiz, that could be the evidence that you put for this. Now, your teacher might choose to do something completely different, but I'm going to try and do a nice simple quiz. It should be maybe 10 questions. And from the 10 questions, we know that you know how to identify when to respond. We're supposed to be doing identifying when and how to respond to email messages. Because it says identify again, I've mentioned this before, but because it says identify, we simply need to point out the things that you should do when responding to email messages. So what I've done, I've created a quiz, and this quiz, I've made up scenarios, I've made up emails, and I'm going to give this to my student, this quiz to my students, and they're going to have to go in and answer these questions just so that I can show that they can obviously identify or show the things that need to be done. For example, this question here, it says, what priority would you label this email? And I've mentioned priority means a level of importance. So how important is this email in the grand scheme of things? And I've given a scenario, I'm not going to read it now. I've given a scenario that they'll have to read, or I can read it out to them. Your teacher can read it out to you. And from here, you will be able to select an answer. Now, at the very end of the quiz, when you click an answer for everything, you're going to click submit. So I've got 12 questions on mine. You're going to click submit. After you click submit, it's going to give you an overall score. It's going to show you how much you got wrong, how many you got right. From there, you'll then be able to screenshot each question that you got right, each question that you got wrong. And once you have the majority of them correct, then I would say you can move on from this section. So for my students, I'm going to share this quiz with you, and this is what you do for 2.2. Once you've done it, then I'm going to allow you to screenshot it, put this into your work, and move on to the next step.